My girlfriend paused in the doorway that evening, hand on the knob, hair already styled for the night, and said, almost casually, "Don't come to the office party. People there can't stand your vibe." There was no hesitation, no softening of the blow. Just a verbal grenade tossed over her shoulder. I remember blinking at her, trying to process whether I'd heard right. In the end, all I could manage was a flat, "Whatever you want." No argument. No raised voice. Just a quiet surrender that I would later regret ever giving. But then, here's the twist. She gets to that party, walks through the entrance, and every single head in the venue swivels toward her. Not in a normal way either, like a wave of shock froze the whole room. She didn't even make it past the doorway. And that's where everything started to unravel. I should probably introduce myself. I'm Adrian, I'm 29, and I discovered the hard way that the people who claim they're protecting you from the world's judgment might actually be the ones judging you the most. This story is about the night my girlfriend's lies, carefully stacked like a house of cards, collapsed right in front of her entire company. We started so well. Or at least I thought we did. Sierra and I had been dating about a year and a half. We matched on a dating app, found instant chemistry, all that good stuff. After 10 months, we moved in together. She had a marketing job at a mid-sized tech company. I worked from home doing freelance graphic design. Different lifestyles, sure. But for a long time, it felt like we balanced each other out. She'd come home ranting about chaotic team meetings, and I'd show her the illustration I spent my day perfecting. Somehow, it worked. Until month 13. That's when the small comments started. "You're so lucky you can just work in sweatpants. Must be amazing not having a real job. I swear, sometimes I wish I could sit on a couch all day." She always said it with a laugh. A gentle nudge. Just a joke. But have you ever had a joke start feeling like sandpaper on your skin? That's what it became, slow, irritating abrasion. Then came the exclusions. Her company held happy hours and little events all the time. During our first year, I went along and genuinely enjoyed myself. I wasn't the life of the party, but I blended in. I smiled, nodded at their marketing jokes I barely understood, sipped my drink, and survived. Then about 6 months ago, she stopped asking me to come. "It's just a work thing, baby. You'd be bored. The team wants to keep it really small. It's more networking than social. Not really your scene." It didn't feel malicious at first. Couples don't need to be glued together at every outing, right? I told myself it was fine. But the excuses kept multiplying. And the wording changed. It stopped being about the events, and started being about me. The holiday party conversation. 3 weeks ago, she was getting ready for work when she mentioned it, the company's big annual holiday blowout. Fancy hotel ballroom, catered food, open bar, the whole high-budget corporate circus. She said it so casually. "The holiday party's next Friday. Should be fun. Should I rent you a suit?" I looked up, surprised, in a good way. I thought she wanted me there. But she froze mid-mascara stroke, eyes fixed on her reflection, and said, "Actually, I think I'm going alone this year." That one word, alone, hit different. "Alone? Why?" I asked. She took a breath, like she was preparing for a monologue she'd rehearsed. "People at work have been making comments. About you. They think you're kind of standoffish. And it creates a weird energy. So it's better if I go solo." The air left my lungs. I could almost hear the hum of the refrigerator behind me, the ticking of the wall clock. Everything else went quiet. "People have been talking about me?" I repeated. "Don't get upset," she rushed out. "It's just that you don't really participate in conversations. You stand there and it makes people uncomfortable." "I do participate," I said. "I talk to people." She gave a tiny laugh. A pity laugh. "You talk at people, Adrian. Not with them. My coworkers can't stand your vibe. It reflects on me." My vibe. That word slapped me. So I just said it again, the only thing safe to say in that moment. "Whatever you prefer." Her shoulders relaxed. She actually smiled, relieved. "I knew you'd be mature about it." And then she left. Just like that. Something was wrong. Very wrong. I sat alone in the quiet apartment, replaying every gathering in my mind. Had I been rude? Had someone actually complained? Was I somehow a problem without realizing it? That sentence, "People can't stand your vibe," gnawed at me. It felt too sharp, too specific, too rehearsed. So, I did something I am not proud of, but I am also not sorry for. Sierra and I shared a streaming account. That account was tied to her email. And if you've ever reset a password, you know exactly where this is going. 10 minutes to access her inbox. 20 minutes to search keywords and threads. I expected awkward messages, maybe venting, maybe mild complaints. I found none. Nobody was talking about me at all. What I did find was worse. A lot worse. The emails. For months, Sierra and her friend from work, Mara, had been discussing me like I was some failed science experiment. "Adrian is so boring. I don't know what I was thinking dating a freelancer. He has no ambition. I need someone on my level." Then, more recent messages. "There's this guy at work. Jason. I think he's interested. You should go for it." And Sierra's reply. "I'm still technically with Adrian though, Mara." Mara's answer. "You've wanted out for months. Just end it. Jason will be there at the holiday party." Sierra. "I will. I want Jason to see me single and available." I read that exchange over, and over, and over. And a strange calm came over me. Cold. Focused. Sharp. If Sierra was planning to humiliate me after the party, then I needed to act before she got the chance. So I started planning. And trust me, what happened next is why every head turned when she walked into that party, and why she didn't make it another step inside. I had exactly 1 week before that party. 7 days until Sierra would walk into that ballroom and pretend she didn't have a boyfriend, until she would give Jason his chance. So I made a choice. For 7 days, I became the version of me she always claimed she wanted. I was the picture-perfect partner, supportive, patient, cooking dinner before she got home, tossing her laundry into the dryer so she'd have warm clothes folded on the bed. I kissed her forehead when she looked tired, asked thoughtful questions about her meetings, even packed her lunch one morning like we were some adorable domestic sitcom couple. And the wild part? She seemed happy, relaxed. She probably thought I had accepted my exile from the party with grace, or maybe that I was just too fragile to argue. She had no clue what was coming. Because while I was sprinkling Parmesan on pasta and asking about her workload, I was also piecing together something very, very different. Step 1, information gathering. Sierra's company wasn't enormous, around 40 employees. Over the past year and a half, I'd met maybe half of them at corporate events and happy hours. I still had several of them on LinkedIn and social media. Faces I'd chatted with over drinks, people who had once laughed at my dumb jokes while Sierra pretended she wasn't annoyed. So I reached out. Nothing aggressive. Nothing that would set off alarms. Hey, long time no talk. Hope work's treating you well. Friendly, casual, nothing out of the ordinary. Most responded warmly. We exchanged light conversation, weather, new projects, small talk, before I slipped in what I really needed. Sierra mentioned some people at work feel like I come off standoffish. I wanted to apologize if I ever gave that impression. Definitely not my intention. Every reply said the same thing, almost word for word. What? I've never heard anyone say that. Standoffish? Who told you that? Dude, you were always cool when you came around. No one ever complained about you, not that I've heard. I saved screenshots of every single one. Names. Timestamps. All of it. And then, for the piece de resistance, I reached out to Mara, the coworker whose emails I had already seen buried in Sierra's inbox. We had spoken twice in person. She had not seemed to hate me at the time, though apparently Sierra had been painting a very different picture behind my back. Hey Mara, hope you're doing well. Sierra told me I shouldn't come to the holiday party because people at work aren't comfortable around me. I just wanted to reach out and apologize if I ever made anyone feel that way. She replied an hour later. Adrian, I'm not sure what Sierra told you, but I've never heard anyone here say something negative about you. I'm honestly confused, this is the first I'm hearing of it. Perfect. Screenshot. At that point, I had every puzzle piece I needed. Friday night, show time. The Friday of the holiday party finally arrived. Sierra spent hours getting ready. Hair curled, nails painted, makeup flawless. And then the dress, silky, deep wine red, the kind of fabric that shimmered when she moved. I'd never seen it before. It looked expensive. The kind of expensive that lives on a mannequin under a spotlight. She spritzed perfume, adjusted her earrings, checked herself in the mirror again and again. I just watched in silence. Have fun, I said, because that's what a supportive boyfriend says, right? She smiled at her reflection, not at me. Thanks. Don't wait up. She left at 6:30 p.m., heading to meet her friends for pre-party drinks. The party began at 7:30. At 7:15, I sat down at my laptop. The email. I spent the week gathering names, LinkedIn profiles, company directory entries, email formats based on the corporate website. When I was done, I had 42 employees on a recipient list. Not CC. Not BCC. All of them. In the open. The subject line was simple. Clearing up some confusion. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for a moment, then I began typing. Hi everyone. My name is Adrian, and I'm Sierra's boyfriend of 18 months. I was told by Sierra that I'm not welcome at tonight's holiday party because multiple people at your company supposedly complained about me, calling me standoffish, antisocial, and uncomfortable to be around. I reached out to several of you individually this week to apologize if I had made anyone uncomfortable. Every single person I spoke to said they had no idea what I was talking about and had never complained about me. I've attached screenshots of those conversations, including one with Mara, who Sierra claimed was among those who expressed concerns. I am also attaching screenshots of emails between Sierra and Mara in which Sierra admits she invented these complaints because she wants to appear single at tonight's event for the benefit of a coworker named Jason. I'm sharing this so you are aware that Sierra has been lying about your opinions and using your reputations to justify it. I will not be attending the party, but I thought you all deserved clarity. Best regards, Adrian. I attached every screenshot, every message, every embarrassing, undeniable piece of truth. Then I clicked send. Timestamp, 7:22 p.m. After that, I closed my laptop, opened a bottle of bourbon, poured myself a slow, steady glass, and sat back on the couch. Then, I waited for the world to shift. Because I knew it would, the first message hit my phone at 7:49 p.m., a number I didn't recognize flashing across the screen. Hey, this is Kevin from Sierra's company. Just wanted to say that email was savage but absolutely deserved. She's been telling people you're controlling, and that's why you never show up to events. Dude, everyone here is losing it right now. I just stared at the text, letting it sink in. Controlling. So that was the story she'd been selling behind my back. A moment later, another message, this time from someone named Rachel. Holy dude. She just walked in and the entire room went dead silent. Like a movie. She looked at her phone and went pale. She's outside crying right now. One message turned into two. Two turned into six. Then my phone was lighting up so fast it buzzed like an angry hornet in my hand. People I'd met at past events were feeding me a live play-by-play of the implosion. And according to every single one of them, my email had landed exactly as I intended, right as employees were checking in, champagne flutes in hand. So by the time Sierra walked into that ballroom at 7:47 p.m., every phone was already in every hand, and every person had already read my message. They saw her walk in. And they all turned. Silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. Whispers followed. Someone stepped forward and asked, point blank, if the screenshots were real. Sierra pulled out her phone. She read my email. And apparently, her face just collapsed. Color gone. Shoulders trembling. Like someone had pulled a string and all the structure holding her upright vanished. She tried to deny it, of course, tried to say I had faked everything. But Mara was there. And Mara confirmed every word. Others chimed in, people she had supposedly told about complaints. And they said it loud enough for everyone to hear. I never said anything about Adrian. None of us did. Why would you lie about that? Sierra lasted maybe 5 minutes, if that, before she fled the building in tears. The grand company holiday party she had been so desperate to attend without me had turned into a public sentencing. 8:30 p.m. I was on the couch with the TV playing, bourbon still in my glass, when the front door opened. Sierra stepped inside. She looked wrecked, mascara streaked down her cheeks, hair tangled from her hands running through it, the expensive dress crumpled like tissue paper. Her breathing was shaky, erratic. What the hell did you do? She spat, voice cracking. I didn't even sit up. I kept my eyes on the screen for a moment, then glanced at her. I told the truth, I said. You said your coworkers couldn't stand my vibe, so I asked them. Turns out, that vibe only existed in your imagination. I simply shared the clarification. You humiliated me in front of my entire company, she screamed, voice breaking. No, I said, calm in a way that almost sounded cold, even to me. I corrected a lie. You humiliated yourself when you made up stories about me. You went through my emails. That's a violation of privacy. And you tried to destroy my reputation to make room for Jason. That's a violation of trust. Her face crumpled. I wasn't going to actually do anything with Jason. But you wanted to, I replied. And you were willing to use my name as a stepping stone to get there. She choked on a sob. Everyone at work hates me now. They think I'm a liar. I can't go back. I'll have to quit. You ruined my career. I set my empty glass down gently. No, I said quietly. You ruined your career the moment you decided to drag your coworkers into your lies. All I did was shine a light on it. The silence that followed was thick, heavy enough to suffocate. Finally, I stood. We're done, Sierra. The lease is in my name. You can pack a bag and go stay wherever you'd like. Tonight. Her eyes widened. Maybe she wasn't expecting me to be that composed, that certain. Maybe she thought I would fold, the way she expected me to fold when she told me to skip the party. She looked at me one last time and whispered, voice trembling with rage. I hate you. I nodded once. That's fair. I'm not exactly your biggest fan right now either. She packed in silence. A duffel bag, a coat, whatever she could grab with shaking hands. Then she walked out the door without another word. I didn't ask where she was going. I didn't care. Final update. It's been 2 months since that party, the night everything Sierra built, every lie she stacked like dominoes, finally collapsed in front of the very people she wanted to impress. She moved out 3 days after it happened. There were no emotional speeches, no apologies, no attempts at reconciliation, just short, clipped text messages about who owned which lamp and whether she could come by to pick up the last box of shoes. We didn't speak outside of logistics. Honestly, there wasn't anything left to say. The fallout. I never asked for details, but they found me anyway. Over the next few weeks, a steady trickle of messages from Sierra's former coworkers came in, people I barely knew, people whose names I only remembered because I'd seen them on name tags or Slack profiles once upon a time. The things they told me. Let's just say, if the company had ever considered writing a handbook on what not to do at a corporate holiday party, Sierra had just provided the opening chapter. She apparently tried, at first, to spin it. To claim I had fabricated everything. That I'd somehow manipulated screenshots and engineered an elaborate smear campaign. But there were too many witnesses. Too many people who had spoken to me directly and knew the truth. And, of course, there was Mara, who had confirmed everything in front of half the party. Trust is a fragile thing. And once hers snapped, it didn't just break, it turned to dust. 6 weeks after that night, Sierra resigned. From what I've been told, she simply couldn't take the cold shoulders, the awkward silences, or the looks from people who now wondered if she'd lied about them too. Last anyone told me, she moved to another city for a fresh start. And the funniest part? The man she wanted to look single for, the esteemed Jason, wanted absolutely nothing to do with her after the truth came out. Turns out, a public track record of fabricating stories about your boyfriend isn't much of a dating advantage. Meanwhile, in my life, I'm good. Better than I've been in a long time. That relationship had been on life support for months, long before the party. I just refused to admit it because I kept telling myself we were going through a rough patch, that things would stabilize, that love could outrun disrespect if I just held on tight enough. But Sierra's lie about that party was probably the kindest thing she's ever done for me. It was a mirror held to her personality, and I finally looked. I kept the apartment. I kept my peace. I kept my career and my friends and my sense of who I am. And yes, I started dating again. This time, with someone who actually values the work I do, someone who doesn't need to invent a fictional narrative about my vibe just to pursue a new romantic opportunity. The legend of the email. It's strange how stories travel. Apparently, the email I sent is now something of a legend in Sierra's former company. A few people still message me occasionally, joking that it was the most dramatic corporate event in the firm's history, and that whenever someone tries to lie their way out of a situation, someone inevitably jokes, "Careful, or we're going to get another Adrian email." And honestly, I'll take that legacy. Because I don't regret a single thing I did. Sierra spent months painting me as dead weight, telling people I lacked ambition, implying I was controlling, using her coworkers as props to justify pushing me out of her life so she could upgrade to someone she thought was more impressive. The truth is, people didn't dislike me. They disliked being weaponized. They turned on her because she had used their names, their reputations, their imagined words to build a scaffold for her next relationship. And when she walked into that holiday event and the room fell silent, it wasn't because they were judging her dress or her hair or whether she'd gained or lost weight. It was because she had lied about all of them, and for once, the lie didn't land softly, it detonated. She didn't make it past the door because there was no version of reality left that she could hide inside. The lesson. Sometimes revenge isn't slashing tires, screaming matches, or dramatic public scenes. Sometimes revenge is simply making sure the right people know the truth at the exact moment they need to hear it. Sometimes, when someone says, "People can't stand your vibe," what they really mean is, "I can't stand who I've become, and blaming you is easier than fixing it." And if I hadn't documented everything, if I hadn't gathered proof, she would have walked into that party, broken up with me afterward, and told the world a story in which I was the villain and she was the wounded survivor. So no, I don't feel guilty. The email wasn't revenge. It was correction. A reset. A refusal to be the silent chapter in someone else's fabricated autobiography. And to anyone wondering whether what I did was extreme, I'd ask you this. What's more extreme, exposing a lie, or letting someone rewrite your identity for people you may never meet again? I didn't destroy her reputation. She did. All I did was make sure the truth had a place to stand.